series, and one I might add should be a fantastic match here, as it's going to be TY versus Solar, what I think has the makings of a fantastic Terran versus Zerg. Can't use that word enough when talking about pretty much every person in this group, there's no doubt about that, and pretty much all the matches in this group. Spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, representing Team Splice, it is TY. And up in the top right-hand side of the map, it is TS Gaming Solar. Solar is a fantastic Zerg player. I think it would be assumed that TY is probably the favorite here. However, TY did fall down to Cure. Maybe definitely not surprising with how good Cure is, but maybe surprising with how good TY is, you might think. And so we'll see what TY is going to do versus Solar. TY, he just destroyed Armani in the qualifiers to get here, so he already fought through the qualifier. We already cast him a little bit, and now we'll see what's he going to be able to get done versus a Zerg like Solar. How are they matching up today? I mean, this is an important match, guys. This is only match number 3 out of 10 today. However, it is a very important one for the standings because you're either going up 2-0 or going down 0-2. In the sense, Solar has the possibility to be having a 2-0 series score, and TY has the possibility to have a 0-2 series score. So either way this is going, someone's in a great spot, someone's in a poor spot. Reaper Expand is the build of choice from TY. No SCV Scouts, so we'll see if he follows this up with a Marine. This is something that's very important to pay attention to as to how Terrans manage this sort of situation, because you don't want to die to an early pool. And there have been Terrans in big tournaments who will just roll over and die to an early pool. That's just something that happens every now and then, and you go, why? And you go, why? And then the Terrans say, because I didn't want to SCV Scout, or I wanted to send my Reaper across the map. And TY, he's doing exactly that. I mean, if this was an early pool for Solar, TY would be in trouble. No Marine, Reaper out on the map, not staying back at home, and no SCV Scout. TY making a risk, a very big risk, might I add, because it's just a risk that says game over if it goes wrong at times. So you gotta give it to TY for being brave and not SCV scouting. But then at the same time, you gotta shame him a little bit. That's my crusade as far as StarCraft goes, to get Terrans to stop dying to early lings. Just from like a 16 pool or something. These lings with a relentless hatred against rocks are gonna go to work on them. Reaper for TY, gonna try and get on in here. It hasn't actually killed anything just yet. Here we see TY, he might be looking to dive on in with his Hellions. He did in that previous game, and there he goes. Hellions running towards the natural, and they're going to already connect with 2 drones. Might be able to pick off a few more. Oh, there we go. 3 drones going down so far, and TY, he might be able to get out with these Hellions. That would be absolutely huge, and he does. That is a fantastic move from the Terran player. He can go home with those Hellions. He can repair them up, and then he's already done nice economic damage to his opponent. A normal Hellion run by that would kill off a lot of drones. This does not hit this early on, so TY given Solar a bit of a hiccup, and he actually did something like this similar versus Armani. Looks like we've got ourselves a fusion core on the way for TY, so it is going to be that battle cruiser rush, guys. He did this before versus Armani yesterday. This is why it's such a treat. It's not often that you get to cast TY 2 days in a row, and this is one of those days, so I'm counting my blessings here. Solar, he's got a Baneling Nest on the way because he's scared of what his opponent is going to be going for, so gotta respect those potential Hellbats and such. However, it's just going to be a battle cruiser followed up by a command center, so a very respectful macro opening. This opening is surprisingly safe versus a lot of aggression. And here we see TY looking to poke on in with his Hellions, but not finding anything. As the main play he's going for right now is his battle cruiser. No Yamato cannon on the way, and ooh, an idle SCV for TY. I feel like I'm being a bit hard on him already, but get that guy back to work. TY, he is going to be playing Bio following this up. This is what I've been craving, a very high level Terran versus Zerg Bio play. I'm greedy, guys. I love it. The mech stuff, it's cool, but I see enough mech. Just give me some high level Bio TvZ. Opening with a battle cruiser, that's fine. And here we see that battle cruiser is indeed going to teleport into Solar's base. Let's see what it can get done. It's going to start pursuing those drones. Drones in the extractor. Not so lucky. Solar tries to save them by making them into his force. Saves one or two. But the speed rope will go down on this. Looks like a queen's going to fall victim to this battle cruiser. No, actually great transfuse from Solar. Actually losing just 2 drones. And then this battle cruiser, since it teleported in, can't teleport out and stay as long. So very nicely done from Solar defense-wise, just pulled those drones very appropriately. And take a look at this, Solar. He is already up to 64 drones. He's getting up a Hydra Den. He's getting up Evo Chambers. And oh man, we're going to see a 4th base soon for Solar, and he is a monster Zerg with Lingbane Hydra. He is the pioneer of it. Solar is such a pioneer of Lingbane Hydra that he drove across the Midwest with a wagon. That's how much of a pioneer Solar is when it comes to Lingbane. He's just done it for so long. Back in Heart of the Swarm, I think, was when we first saw him do it. And it is such a good style, guys, because the Hydras, the current Hydras, have surprising amount of muscle. They have a surprising amount of muscle. Basically, what that means is they don't literally, if you take a look at them, they don't literally have legs to stand on, but they do in a straight-up fight versus Terran. Then when you pair in the Banelings, they do all right. And just as far as disrupting large number of bio, because the beauty of this style, the thing that really makes it work for the Zerg player is that in large numbers, if it's, say, a ton of Marines versus a ton of Hydras, the Zerg has the Banelings, and that really helps out the Zerg player. Whereas in smaller numbers, the Hydras are surprisingly good versus bio. Now we see TY is looking to push on in versus his opponent. He's got Stim, he's got Hellbats. Solar, though, he's already got Hydras out links and tons of mains, so I think he's just going to clean this up with complete ease. He's being very careful about how he goes for this, but look at that. A few Banelings go forward, they clean up most of the Hellbats. The mine has been baited out. TY, he's just got to get on it. There's no chance for anything to get done. As this was going on, the battle cruiser comes back on in, picks off 4 more drones, so TY at least gets something. However, Solar, he is fine with those losses. He can absorb those losses. He's getting up his 4th base. And as far as macro goes, this is very, very nice for Solar. This is a happy opening. I'm curious to see if we're going to see TY throw up a 4th base here. That seems to be the trend of Terrans lately, as just it's the choice. They don't have as much success with, say, those big 3-base all-ins or something like that. And so they just say, right, I'll macro up, because macro is looking better for Terran in the late game these days. It's almost a bit of a renaissance for Terran, dare I say. It might be a little bit early to call it, but in TvP, Terrans, they're more comfortable going into the late game now more than ever, I'd say. It's still a bit of a tough spot, but then versus TvZ, it's looking rather good too. So Terran is having a late game renaissance. And we'll see if TY does it, because he is one of those late game Terrans. No sign of a 4th base just yet from TY. He's just really continuing on building this army. So he is putting himself on a bit of a clock here as far as having to go for one of those 2 things. But for now, we'll see how he's going to play it out. TY going into his 2-2. Solar has his 2-2 on the way, though, as well. TY's just getting a bit of a drop-off here. Scans, cleans up a creep tumor. Might be able to deny a 5th base. That would be a nice move for TY. You get in there with those Marines, and he will be able to shut this down. There's no question about it. Cancels the base. Good reaction from Solar. Clicking on that hatchery, canceling it before it dies. Just got to point out little things like that in StarCraft 2. That is an incredibly fast move. TY's killing that base for 2 seconds. Solar has to cancel it within 2 seconds, and he does it. The captain of TY's army, the battle cruiser, goes on another solo mission. However, he teleports right on top of the Spore Crawler and a Queen, so maybe having it a bit rough. And with all these Hydras out there, I don't know if he's coming home from this one. This might be what TY needs in order to buy himself a bit of a nice position, but look at that, Hydras are coming in. Captain, oh Captain, I think he is sailing off into the night here, and it's not looking too good for him. These Hydras are getting underneath him. May he rest in peace as that battle cruiser explodes. TY though was pushing this base as this was going on. He has a nice trade out with his Spio, just trading out versus a small number of lings. Meanwhile, a drop is going on from the main base. Actually cancels a Spire of Solar, I believe that was. Another Spire is getting started down in the natural here right away. TY going for a drop, gets some nice mind connections, but drops versus Zerg, they generally have a time span until the Zerg reacts. So this does end up getting cleaned up. Solar managed to defend his 5th base, which is actually very, very nice for him. However, TY, he's going for it now. He's really pushing on in. There still is no 4th base from TY, so we might just see him float his main base at some point. So he is rather committed. The pressure is on him to make something happen with this attack. However, his army is looking good to make something happen. He's got Marauders, he's got a ton of mines, he's got Drone Claws. He's now ready to absorb what Solar throws at him. Solar, without a ton of Banelings, he's got 16 on the way, which is no small amount. The Hydras can prevent the Terran from sort of pushing and poking him too much, but that hatchery, it does get sniped off. We'll see if Solar continues to push on in. The hatchery is dead, so he could just abandon that. Loses a ton of Banelings to that Widowmine shot. Hydras are now engaging here. And let's take a look. So far, Solar just setting up here. His 5th base. Trying to re-secure it. Meanwhile, TY going for another drop, realizing that he probably can't push into that because Solar does have a very nice number of Hydras. 20 Hydras is a lot of muscle. TY's going for another drop. Solar is reacting to it though. Is it in time? And it looks like it will be. So TY might just have to abandon this as he's looking to push on in towards the 5th base. I think this is going to be enough though to push into this 5th. Cancel it again. TY actually just moves down with his army. A nice move. They're able to deny Solar's 5th longer. Solar says enough is enough. I'm going to take another base up here. Maybe he'll double expand, which is a very good move for Zerg if they can afford it. And now we're seeing Solar go for a bit of a counterattack. Hold off the Terran on one hand while punishing them on the other. A lot of supply depots go down. TY Solar just said, I guess I'll supply block you. Everything considered, though, we are now seeing TY go for a 4th base. This is very delayed compared to a normal macro Terran. He even floated over his main base, but this one ling being a pain and denying that. And so Solar has held on. He has forced TY to be in a bit of an uncomfortable economic position. Look at this, though, nicely done by TY. Is defending this base location here. This TvZ, we're 12 minutes in. TY, he's maxed out. He's looking to push on in and punish Solar. There is Vipers out in the mix of this, so there is a lot of Hydras in Solar. He can start ramping up that Baneling count. TY has forced Solar to trade out with these Banes constantly, so this Zerg hasn't become a runaway train or anything like that. And now we see TY, he does have to, or Solar does have to engage into all of these disruptors. He's abducting into all of those Liberators. Solar abducting those Liberators, pardon me. Able to prevent this Terran from pushing in as easily. He might just be having his 5th base shut down again. We'll see. He's shutting down a fair few of the Widowmines, however his army is starting to wear a little bit thin. That being said, TY is very, very stimmed right now, and a nice move from Solar. He saw that this was an orbital command, not a planetary, and he knows he can harass it with a few of them. Just little things like that, making him such a world-class Zerg player right now. And as this game has gone on, we have seen Solar has managed to tech into a greater Spire. He got that up. What upgrades else does he have? He's got Adrenal Glands, so this is where the Zerg really reaches their comfort zone. +3 Carapace for a Zerg is a luxury, as they're just so used to being stuck on that lower tech. However, Solar managed to reach that higher tech. Very nicely done for him. And now TY is in a rough situation. He's got to deal with the Broodlords somehow. And this is a Zerg with Hydras, which are great support for Broodlords. And he's even got Vipers in the mix as well. We are seeing TY going for a drop. He's going to be able to shut down this base again from the looks of it, I think. Lings do come into position. Can they save it? I think they actually can. It's going to be close. No, TY, he is able to pick off those Hydras, and now Solar has to section off more units. So a nice trade there. Let's take a look at this, though. The Broodlords pretty much unopposed. The Viking count is going to be the answer for TY. However, Vikings versus Zerg, not the most comfortable situation. When we see Terrans take on a late-game Zerg army, they're hitting them all over usually. They're not just making Vikings and trying to attack because the Vipers will just make it pretty much impossible. Those Vipers toss down a parasitic bomb on a medivac just trying to hurt that cluster even further. TY, he's trying to get mines underneath this, but they're not going to get enough done here. And the Broodlords are still pretty much unopposed. Vikings are on the way out for TY. Where are the Corruptors for Solar? He does need to make a few Corruptors to buffer for these Broodlords, but so far this is going very well for Solar. The Broodlords are really weakening as well. Nice mine shots are going off. So far, though, this is looking very, very good for the Zerg as he's pushing on in. He's going to pick off these Liberators. TY is getting repelled right now, and so far this is looking fantastic for Solar. He's pushing TY away. TY has to abandon the base. Not a good thing for the Terran right now. He keeps it alive, yes, but being against the ropes like this is not good, and TY knows it. GG. Solar takes game number 1. Okay, very well done by Solar, able to knock TY down into a 0-1 situation. And TY, like, he's a great Terran, but you don't want to be going down in a group 0-2. There is a 3rd place situation, guys, but keep in mind, 1st place in your group is very nice. And that's what Solar's eyeing for right now, as he's having a very strong start. 1st place, what that's going to get you? That's going to get you seeded into the round of 4. That's already prize money. That's at least $50 prize money, plus the Matcherino contributions. And then that's going to get you seeded versus... 1st place is going to get you seeded versus a 2nd or a 3rd place player who comes from the losers bracket of the other group. So that is very nice. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. What a great Terran versus Zerg. Make sure to let your friends know that this tournament is going on. There isn't enough of you guys coming over here to check this out. It is fantastic StarCraft 2. It's alright commentating. And it's just great to have so many of you guys over here. Okay, but yeah, let's keep this going. We'll get on into the lobby, and then we'll go from there. Once again, I'm going to keep hammering it on. That Matcherino, guys, it's as easy as just typing in a few letters here. AWAB, that's the code. Check out that Matcherino link. That's all it takes to shut me up. I was using those codes. And Falcon Paladin, he's going to be here commentating with me tomorrow. I'm not going to have to be doing as much production, or Falcon Paladin, while I'm doing production, he can be yelling at you guys about it. Matcherino is such a great thing, guys, so it's important to use. Anyway, we are now into the next game, so now it's all about the StarCraft here. And spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, he's got himself a 1-0 lead. It is Solar for TS Gaming. And up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is Splice TY. Okay, so let's see how this game is going to go. Solar, I feel he played the game he wanted, and TY played like a bit of a typical Terran. TY plays typical Terran the best he can, but in the current meta, there's a reason why Terrans were having a tough time versus Zerg. Why we'd see that ever so comical Terran dies to Broodlords. And TY just versus someone like Solar, I think he has the potential to play that late game. He is one of the late game's Terrans. He is the late game Terran, as a matter of fact, that has the most notoriety for it. Even trying like late game mech versus Protoss, you know, before it was cool, before Maru did it in the Super Tournament. And yeah, so I definitely think if TY, there was a critical moment in which he decided to keep attacking, to keep churning out bio instead of throwing up a fast 4th base. And then eventually he just ran out of steam. Because if you're a Terran and you commit to that 4th base, you've got the gas in order to, not the actual in-game resource, you've got the metaphorical gas in order to be able to go toe-to-toe versus Broodlords, playing that Ghost, getting, say, more Vikings. Thors are important too. And TY, while he did a good job trying to drop all over versus Solar, Solar has played thousands of games versus Terrans who did just that, so he's very well versed in it. The late game TvZ thing that's becoming more and more common, it's newer. It gives Terran a lot more leeway to really poke and prod. And I'm someone who had a hard time accepting that, but I've accepted it now. And TY, he's got to accept it too. You know, you just got to realize that someone like Solar is so hard to kill, because it is one of those practice things. Zergs, they've been having a hard time with the late game Terran because it's just such a new thing. It's not something they're used to. They're used to Terrans going for their 3-base pushes like TY did there, and that's why Solar has had so much practice playing that Lingbane Hydra and managed to defend versus TY. It's not like he was facing anything new or unorthodox there. He knows the Terran patterns. And, yeah, that's that. That's my rant. We've been watching this Overlord for a while now. And let's take a look at what's going on production-wise. Nothing astounding has been screaming out of the production tab. A third... Oh, TY... Oh, come on, TY. Look at that. He goes to throw up a third base. The Overlord's right there. He's like, wait, no, I'm not building the third. You didn't see anything, you know? Show us that gif of that penguin going underground. Oh, Ling gets an SCV. So rude for Solar. Oh, look at that. This Overlord's like, oh, I totally didn't see you trying to start a third base there, TY. Let's take a look for that third base. This Overlord, he is committed. He is on a mission. And this time he's seeing TY opening up very macro-oriented. No battle cruiser this game just yet. We very well could see one. A Liberator. I am a big fan of Liberator harassment. Because Liberator harassment requires such a definitive response. Ling moving across the map. Oh, that Ling gets on not very far. Meanwhile, the two Hellions for TY looking to maybe get on in there. Oh, did Solar cut Lings? Yes, he did. There's only 2 Lings out for him, so those Hellions maybe could have got something done, but the Queens are enough. An Armory is on the way for TY as he goes up to Hellion at number 7 and 8. And here we go. Ling gonna try and make it on in there. Lings are gonna try and get on in here. Hellions are going for the run. There we go. Lings can't mess around on them, so TY, he made the dive, but he's quickly regretting it as he tries to back out. He trades out with a few of the Lings, which is alright. He's getting Liberator harassment going off during this, but look at that. Solar, such a good Zerg player. Doesn't lose a single drone to Liberator harassment. Not an easy thing to do, but he's doing it well. Drones in the extractors could be in trouble here, but the Queens are stepping forward to take one for the team. TY gonna try and pick off at least one of those Queens. He gets there, but 1 Queen for 1 Liberator, that is a trade. TY will, or Solar will take. That being said, this is not a trade we'll take. Drones getting fried up by Hellions. TY comes on in once again with the very bruised Hellions. He picks off a few drones there. So far, though, Solar doing a good job holding on. Right now we see Cloak and the Banshee on the way. A bit of a later follow-up coming out of the Terran player, but Solar, he does see the Banshee, I think, which is a massive tip-off. And Spore Crawlers are already started, so he's playing a very, very good game here. Hellions looking to come on in once again as TY doubles, or not really doubles down, but commits into this mech style. Doubles down on building the Hellions. That's what happens when you're a Terran, and you're like, I'm building Hellions. I ain't gonna stop. Guess that means I'm meching. And here we see Banshees coming across the map here for TY. Can they get anything done though? Solar, he's a fantastic Zerg player. He's shown that today, that he is really good at deflecting what's coming his way. He took down Rogue 2-0 in his ZVZ, and now he might be looking at 2-0 TY, and that would be a incredible showing. TY gonna pop off that drone trying to establish a 4th base. Reveals the Banshees, however, denying that 4th is a very nice move. Here they come on in, they're gonna be able to pick off the 2 drones. Nicely done by TY, just picking off those drones left, right. Getting 8 so far, very nicely done. There's gonna be this 4th base attempting to be started. However, 2 Banshees can't deny that. They pick off the drone. Nicely done. TY is meching from here on out. He must have caught wind of those mutas with a scan. He hasn't actually confirmed that there's a lair, but he's just making Thors, I guess, just as a safety thing. You generally need some anti-air as a mech Terran, so it's never too late to be building Thors. However, it actually might be these mutas are coming on in now. And yeah, there's no turrets up just yet, so this is really going to hurt TY. Solar getting a nice move. Muta's not good straight up versus mech as Thors are out, but this timing is very, very nice for the Zerg player. He's going to get on in. The Thors will pop out. However, these mutas have already done their damage right now. They're just going to be able to bounce around as well. SCV's getting picked off left and right. The Viking pops out. The Thors will be popping out momentarily, but now these mutas, they can bounce towards this third base. They are going to eat Widowmine shots. They've killed off 16 SCVs. That is absolutely massive damage from the Zerg player. Just beautifully done by Solar. That being said, playing versus mech, it's also a more unfamiliar style that the Zerg player has to deal with. If TY was, say, playing Bio right now and Muta's got that much damage done, you'd probably just pack it in, right? But with mech, there's more room to come back, I'd argue. That being said, Solar is not patient right now. He just wants to kill TY. He is on a mission right now. Roach is moving forward. Raptors coming forward. And there we go. They're picking off a lot of the buffer there. Corvus and Bowser being dropped. The Banshees are there. Mutas can try and work away, and then the Roaches, though, they're going to see what they can get done. Dropping Corvus and Bowser, they might be able to find themselves some SCVs here at this third base. So far, good defense from TY. Using this positioning, it's a bit of an odd micro battle between these Thors, Banshees, and Mutas here. Corvus and Bowser haven't really been connecting at all with the SCVs. 7 have gone down so far, but for the amount that Solar committed to that attack, that is not a lot there. And now the Banshees are on his tail, so very nicely done by TY. Using those Banshees, they have been worth their weight in gold in order to push Solar back. Queens are coming on in order to help out here, push those Banshees away. Couple of Roaches were maybe looking for a counterattack, and there they go. They're going to be heading towards this third, I guess. Does TY have the production to deal with this? There we go. He's coming back with some Hellions and tanks, so these Roaches not going to get a lot done. Might be able to nab off an SCV. Nabs off one of them, the latest command center. Banshee's still just flying about here. Queen's the only defense currently till these Hydras really get in position to defend from these Banshees. These are speed Banshees that TY has, so always going to be able to try and find something to get done with them. Solar is now getting up a hive. We'll be able to see him start making potential Vipers here, which are a very, very critical anti-mech tool, but TY's coming on in, and he's maybe looking to go for a strong attack right now. Hellions, tanks, and Thors. That being said, Roach Hydra is not bad versus this. The main counter to this is the tanks. There's currently 10 tanks, which is actually a rather concerning amount, as a matter of fact. These Roaches and Hydras are going to go for it. The corrosive files from the remaining Raptors can help out. However, this is really hurting Solar. TY with a strong push coming in right now. Able to make a lot of work happen right there. More Ravagers are being built as Solar realizes his position. Just a single Ravager on the way. Actually, the Crucible does help out versus this mech composition, but Solar has actually already lost so much here. A lot of his supply is up in production. It's currently 196, and not a lot for the Zerg. He's stepping forward right now. He's actually going to go for it, seeing some of those tanks are on siege. Dropping Crucible, trying to pick off all the tanks that he can, and he is thinning out that count, so that might be enough for Solar. He's got to retreat now, and did he hold on long enough? There we go, annihilating some of the Banshees. He does lose his Overseer, though, so these Banshees actually uncontested for now, getting some nice damage done. TY trying to get all the value he can here. Once that Overseer is done, it will really allow TY or Solar to clean this up. He needs that done. There we go, he pops off all the Banshees. Well done there. And for now, just more Hydras on the way here for Solar. That's really what you need. Hydras are a well-rounded unit, so they help you deal with that mech. But TY, he really has backed Solar into a corner here with that push. It was very uncomfortable for him. And only now was he able to get up some Vipers, where if he had, say, 1 or 2 Vipers before that fight, it would have been huge for him. Great timing from TY, though, get it on there with what he can. And now a nice Hellion counterattack, able to make something happen. Okay, guys, my voice is dying. Let's accept that fact. Roaches and Hydras coming on in. Solar poking. Finds himself a extractor, or a refinery, pardon me. Meanwhile, these Hydras, Roaches, and Ravager are picking off a couple of Deepas and might be able to get in and get something done, but that tank says no. Vipers are abducting tanks, nicely done. This is where Zerg really excels, getting value with those Vipers. The new Thors do make it a bit tricky with their extended range, though. All that considered, though, we are already seeing Solar get up this Greater Spire, and all it takes is enough of an air buffer, and then a good number of Broodlords, and you can do pretty well versus a Mech and Terran. Looks like some SCV is going to be going down at this location here. Nicely done, a few Hydras parking. TY is going to be looking to push on into his opponent. He's got Vikings over Broodlords are morphing, and that might be all that Solar needs. Where are the Broodlords? Broodlords are at the back of his base. Solar looks like he's going to be losing this one base. Duck goes down. A Thor gets picked off. That's a big chunk of the anti-air. A Viking gets picked off. Going to really help out those Broodlords, which are now pushing on in. Those tanks absolutely useless versus Broodlords, so they all got to get on out of there. Tanks are probably the one unit in the game which have a negative value versus a unit. They have literally negative value versus Broodlords because your unit's friendly fire on them. Broodlord's moving forward with Corruptor support. Solar knows that he can push on in here. TY has been focusing on that anti-air. However, his attempted 5th base is going to be going down. Vikings are moving forward, though, for TY. And the Corruptors, while they can pursue, the Vikings still can generally kite the Corruptors, so you got to be careful about that. That being said, Corruptors are pretty quick these days, after all their acceleration buffs and whatnot. Solar was in a bit of a tough spot, but he has stabilized, he has bought himself time. Morphing in more and more of these Broodlords, because Thors can trade out versus Broodlords. In smaller numbers, they excel, as a matter of fact, and this could actually be an overextension here from Solar moving forward with these Broods, and it definitely is, as a matter of fact, as Solar's able to push it back. Corruptors come forward to buffer and try and help. However, TY's army is looking very, very strong right now. Solar needs to retreat. As let's take a look. What's that Broodlord count? It's currently 6. 6 versus 7 Thors. I usually hammer on about how Zergs make too many Broodlords. However, the case in which you want a lot of Broodlords is when your opponent is making a ton of Thors. So you gotta get some more of these guys up, Solar. He's just trying to squeeze out as many as he can. He's gonna be going up to 9 or so. He's got Corruptors to help out. He's even got Vipers, which will have critical Blinding Clouds or Ducks. For now, though, TY really is looking to push up on this location. Corruptors moving forward to try and thin out the Vikings, but with the Thors on the ground, they really gotta be careful about how they engage. Right now we're seeing Transfusions can be dumped by Solar to try and hang on here. However, he is being broken for now. He's got Hydras and Roaches on the ground, but the tanks in the air are going to cause a lot of problems right now. We are seeing an engagement going down. TY is not a focus fire those tanks. However, there we go. A massive Blinding Cloud going down by the Zerg player. That might be all that Solar needs in order to push this back. It was looking dicey there, but did he manage to break it with those Broodlords and Blinding Clouds? It's still very close. TY with a lot of Thors right now. And when I say a lot of Thors, I mean 8 Thors. That's a lot of money right there in Thor's Solar, though. He's hanging back. If he can have time to breathe, he'll be able to make that dream composition as a Zerg to deal with this kind of mech. It's an interesting position that late game TvZ. It seems that Terrans can make better compositions than the Zerg, but I think it's safe to say that TY is not one that could face off versus an ultimate Zerg composition. So if Solar can reach that, he'll do pretty well versus TY's army. Ducks going down. So many Thors getting picked off. Those Vipers finding some very good value. As this is going on, the transition into a few Cyclones and Hellions is allowing a base to get picked off by TY. These Cyclones, they might get out, they might get picked off, but still a very nice move from the Terran. Solar now needs to be aware of that. However, he's just continuously pushing now. He says, right, I got the army, you just lost a few of your Thors, and you don't have what it takes to beat this Force Divine. Broodling spilling forward, starting to slaughter some SCVs right now, and this army is a pretty strong one from the Zerg player. An orbital command to the north that is not a planetary, so that base is going to be in trouble. TY, while he's been playing this later back in game, it just doesn't seem that he's able to break Solar at this point. He went for those close attacks, but he didn't get it done, and now Solar has this very strong Zerg army, which is tough to deal with as a Terran player. Hydras are going to be able to rip into this command center. They might be able to pick it off. It's going to be close. There we go, it is burning, so that is a command center in trouble right now. And if you look at the supply, this is very, very good for TY, or for Solar, pardon me, not good for TY. Okay, the Corruptor's still enough to buffer for the Vikings. The goal for TY right now is to pick off all the Corruptors, then to work away on the Broodlords, but the Hydras on the ground still deal so much damage. That's where they really excel. They are the unsung heroes of defending these Broodlords, ripping into everything on the ground with their high DPS, ripping into the Vikings, and TY taps out as he is down 0-2 in this